I will take this one on the chin a little bit. Michigan fans were hoping that I would be, quote, eating crow in a variety of different ways that it can be served. And yeah, I didn't because I predicted that score right on the money. Oklahoma wins 24-13. Where I was incorrect with a preseason assessment was that Oregon State would take a step forward. Trent Bray is 2 games away, with those matchups being at Texas Tech and at Oregon, who are top 3 power-rated teams in my rankings coming into the year in their respective leagues. Texas Tech number 1. When Baron Morton's fully healthy, I had Oregon number 3. And Oregon looks, oh, by the way, like a world beater at the moment. We'll see if that lasts. But I thought Trent Bray would take a step forward. Why? He was going to get more consistency at the quarterback position. He had a year to entrench himself as the head coach. I don't know that Trent Bray is a head coach. His team certainly didn't look like they were being coached by someone that should be the leader of that sort of program. And Oregon State has to ask themselves very serious questions here. Because their first game after Texas Tech and Oregon, unless they pull a stunner of an upset there, after losing 2 games in pretty ugly fashion at home, I don't know how they suddenly would get it right on the road. Crazier things have happened in college football. FCS Appalachian State once upon a time beat Michigan. Oh, speaking of Appalachian State, that's who Oregon State plays for Game 5. Oregon State can legitimately be 0-5 this year. They're looking like 0-4 is a lot. I picked them this week because they were at home, because they'd had a game to get all the kinks out with a new quarterback, and then they played one of the ugliest games imaginable on Saturday at home. On their first game, at least, Cal went out there and Jaren Kiave Sangopolotele, or JKS, went out there and made some phenomenal throws. And no, Oregon State didn't look good, but you at least felt like you were getting beat. The problem with the Fresno State loss is not just that Matt Entz is in his first year there with the Bulldogs. You're in year 2. You've got the more expensive and more talented quarterback, and yet you go out and find a way to lose the game, doing a number of different things wrong. It's that Oregon State was beating themselves. And then F-bombs are getting dropped all over the place. You know why? Because Trent Bray knows how bad it is. Everyone knows how bad it is, because if you just have the ability to watch them play football, they don't look cohesive. They do not look well coached. They do not do the little things right. They are not good situationally. End of the half, for instance, Malik Murphy throws an atrocious interception. I mean, atrocious. They were in field goal range, not a gimme field goal. It was 3rd down and long. He's trying to get more yards. He rolls out to the right, throws it down into coverage, and gets intercepted. Oregon State doesn't get a chance to snap the ball over the holder's head once again with their field goal unit. But the fact that that ball was even put up in the air, I'm sorry, you have to figure out how to kick a field goal at some point. Hand the football. How often are you converting? I think it was like a 3rd and 20 or something. You're not converting that often. Hand the ball off, get a couple yards, make it easier on your field goal unit, and you got to give them the belief at some point that they can go out there and get it right. And if they can't, well, then you definitely know what you need to work on. You already knew that anyway, but there's no way that ball should have gone up in the air. And then there was just the encapsulation of what has gone wrong, which is they can't get out of their own way. And so the punter dropping what was a perfectly fine snap, kicking it from the ground, and that getting returned for a touchdown before the half, oh boy. Nothing looks good. Nothing looks buttoned up. Nothing looks like they have a head coach who's capable of steering this in the right direction. I'm willing to give you some grace. Do you realize Trent Bray started 4-1 as Oregon State's head coach? 4-1, with the only loss being to then number 1 ranked Oregon. That was the only loss. Or Oregon was about to be number 1 ranked. Future Big Ten champs. Since then, Trent Bray, it's not good. It's not good. He's 1-8. He's 1-8 since that time. And no, Malik Murphy can't do it on his own. I don't watch and think Malik Murphy's always the problem or even usually the problem. It's everything else around him. The defense should be better. They do not look phenomenally well coached. They can't get off the field situationally. They get pushed around way too much. Oregon State goes into the New World Pac-12 next year. Are you wanting to go in with all this negative momentum? Because your expectation as a program should be to compete in that league for a conference championship. Trent Bray doesn't look like the guy to do it. He's got until the midway point of this season before maybe a decision doesn't get made and get acted upon, but a decision should be made. Because if he comes out 0-5, he'd be 5-12 as a head coach and 1-11 in his last 12 games. Yikes. Speaking of head coaches at programs whose initials are OSU and colors are orange and black, Mike Gundy was taken to the woodshed over the weekend by Dan Lanning following comments that I don't think Gundy intended to fire up the Oregon roster and coaching staff, but he did because he wasn't as careful, I guess, as he needed to be. I thought his message was to his donors and fans to both prepare them for what was about to happen and also send a message, hey, we need more money or we cannot compete at the level that you expect us to. Now, if that request, essentially, from Mike Gundy is not reciprocated, or if it's not fulfilled, well, then guess what? He might decide, I can't win here, I'm out. And now a Big 12 job is open. Or maybe Mike Gundy just keeps on losing. I think Oklahoma State, losing Haas Haney at quarterback is tough. Zane Flores is not yet ready to play. At least he wasn't ready for Oregon. We'll see about the rest of the schedule for Oklahoma State. It certainly gets a lot easier than that because Oregon is playing like a world beater at the moment. But if you keep having losses like that, that look that bad, that are that bad, backup quarterback or not, you've got to show a higher floor of capability as a coach, or a change might be made. He's got a lot of equity in there, but he just did the Mike Norvell. Bunch of new players, all new coaches. Look at what Mike Norvell did. Went and beat Alabama. I didn't expect Oklahoma State to beat Oregon. I thought they would lose. I thought Oregon would cover. But guess what? There are examples, too many of them out there, that show that even if you're at a program that shouldn't be able to make changes that quickly, you should be able to have it look better than that. 69-3? Yikes. Yikes. It was a horrible day for the Big 12 on Saturday. I'll talk about that more tomorrow. Appreciate everyone listening. I will see you next time, and until then, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.